We're going to call this meeting, please. If we can rest for the prayer. Mark, would you like to lead us in the prayer?
Let's pray. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for an opportunity together as a city and look at projections and look at budgets for the coming year. We thank you for the success we've had in the past, and we pray that we look at the right things for our community and our citizens. Thank you for the service of our officials and the dedication they put in. Continue to bless us in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any visitors' remarks? No visitors? Okay, now we have public hearing. Item number 1 is public hearing to receive comments from the public on the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2025-2026. Mark.
I'll just make a comment, so in case the public doesn't know, the intent is to leave the tax rate the same as it's been the last couple of years at 0.685 cents per 100 valuation. And that's what the budget's based off of, and what we approved tentatively as what the intent was last meeting.
Okay. We don't have to make a motion for this one, right?
No,
It was
it's just if
made
anybody
last.
wants to comment.
Very good. So then we move on to action item, budget workshop.
Okay, I'll start. If you remember, last week we went over revenues, general fund and utility fund. We went over community development corporation fund. We went over debt fund, and we went over TERS fund. So today we'll go over expenditures. And if you'll recall, just looking at your paper, the left-hand side of the column is the identification of what fund it is, and then the first numeric column is last year's, the 2023 budget that was actual. Then we have the 24-25, which was your approved budget this time last year with some amendments throughout the year, and then projections, what we project by the end of the year. And then the last column to the right is really what we'll talk about tonight, is the proposed for the coming year, which is 2025, 2026, which starts October 1. So with that in mind, we can go to page 3 on your budget, and we'll start administration. And what I'm going to do is Pablo's going to go over administration and 2 other areas, and I'll let him do all of his areas so that we don't come up and down and up and down. So we'll start with Pablo, and what we'll do is mention those, and then if you have questions before we move to the next department, you're free to ask and input however you would like. So Pablo, go.
Okay. Yes, on page 3, we're going to start with administration. Most of the budget remained the same, but I want to touch on certain points. Under the maintenance of building, we're adding 30,000. Those monies, we're going to use those monies in order for us to kind of paint the outside of this building. So that's 30,000. Under the capital outlay, next fiscal year, we're adding 97,000. And those monies are going to be used for basically doing a total scanning of the permanent records. Another thing, under the technology maintenance agreement, you notice last year it was 75,542. Next fiscal, we're going to budget 60,824. So it went down a little bit because we're going to reduce some of the implementation costs that we did last year. Implementing new modules on our ERP system. So that is the main reason it went down. If you have any questions on administration? No? If you don't have any questions, we can move to the taxes assessor collector. It's almost on the bottom of the page. Those fees are charged every year by the Cameron County Appraisal District, which basically they are basically in charge of collecting and distributing all the property taxes to the city, and they charge that annual fee every year. So just for managing all the property tax payments.
That's the Cameron County, right?
Correct.
Cameron County
Appraisal District.
Appraisal District, not Cameron County. The first line item. The second line item is Cameron County.
The second line item remained the same. If you don't have any questions, we can go to page 8. Under other general, the main thing that changed is the outsourcing of the payroll service. We're gonna save some money on that line item because from now on, we're gonna be doing payroll in-house through my administration. So we're not gonna longer have to pay those monies anymore.
Mark, one question real quick, because we have two numbers on the papers. We have the small number, page 8, which is number 12 on the agenda. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Where is it?
it's on the one that says other general.
Okay,
On this, the number 8, the small number 8 in the middle, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
correct. Mhm. The only thing that it, uh-huh.
I'm running off of the master. What you're looking at would be page 8 or on your agenda packet 12.
Okay, so they have different pages. I'm sorry.
We'll refer that.
So the only thing that changed on that, it's the outsourcing of the payroll services. We are no longer gonna have to pay for that, and everything else remain the same.
Why do we not have to pay for that?
We basically were paying or kind of outsourcing the service to an external company, and from now on, this city, we're gonna do it in-house. So we're gonna save some money there.
He's doing it with his existing staff, taking over that portion. We still did parts of it, but the actual payroll part and the submitting of reports was done by a payroll
Not
company.
another company.
So we'll save those dollars from here on out.
Would that affect how the checks or distribution for workers or anything like that?
Correct. It's gonna be done through the city now. If you don't have any questions, we'll move forward. Okay, thank you.
Next, we'll go back to page 3, which in your packet. Packet is page 7, and it's municipal court, right about the middle of the page. Jackie will take care of that.
Hello, so for municipal court, you'll see an increase in our supplies to 6,000. Supplies cost has continued to increase, so we have increased that line item. You'll also see a increase in our court technology annual maintenance, and that's just due to the maintenance agreement increase. And last, we'll have the credit card service charge. There's an increased usage in credit card services or usage from people paying their tickets online. Excuse me. So that's where you'll see that increase to 50,000. Do you have any questions?
It's
I have-
that, oh, sorry. Is that the one that they pay and we pay that company for the percentage of the 3% or whatever the percentage is?
Yes,
So,
it goes through their clearinghouse in essence.
so as of right now, we're paying for that percentage? Or
Right.
they add it to them?
we're only collecting 1% of that, but starting October 1 or there shortly after, when they can implement it, they will charge the customer the exact amount that we're getting charged, so.
Okay, so, yeah, that's what I was kind of
It'll
asking.
be
Now it's
neutral.
gonna be covered through them.
Yes. It'll be a neutral amount, so if it's $10 to pay a fine with a credit card, it's not that much unless it's a huge amount, but I use that example, then they would be charged $10.
That was my question.
Okay.
Because if the client was gonna get that fee.
So we'll move to page 4, the little number 4. I don't know what number it is on the packet. Yeah.
Packet page
8.
the very next page.
So we're looking at the elections. You'll see an increase in the elections contract because of when we receive the contract, which is kind of June and July. We would pay the deposit in one fiscal year and then the remainder of the amount in the next fiscal year when the actual elections occurred. So this year, we requested that deposit be submitted October 1st of this fiscal year, which will fall the same time as the election. So it's the total of the 17,500. So we're paying everything in the same fiscal year. And moving forward, we'll make that request with the Cameron County Elections Department, so it all falls on the same fiscal year. But other than that, that's the only difference for elections. Do you have any questions? No? Okay.
So
Thank
right
you.
now for this past elections, let's put it, it was 10,131.
And we paid that in 2022, 23, 24, and then we paid the remainder of the amount 24, 25. So there's a 17. So now hopefully every fiscal year from now on, it'll fall in the same year that the elections occur.
It was just hard to track when you had a deposit one year and then the final in the next year, and then the deposit from that year and this year, and then it got confusing, so we asked, can we just put it all in the same fiscal year? And they said, sure. So it'll make it easier to follow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to skip the parts that I do, so we'll do police, which is right under that. Hector's gone today, so Juan will be taking care of PD on page 4, which is packet page 8.
Good evening, council members, Mayor Pro Temp. As you're looking at the budget here, if you look at on page 4, where it goes down to capital outlay, you see an amount of $75,000, and that's to cover some of the new recording system for the PD for the phone recording, and also the security locking devices for the doors throughout the building at the police department itself. And if you go to capital lease for vehicles, the $63,000, that's a proposal for 4 vehicles, 2 command staff vehicles, and 2 CID vehicles on that line item. And the remainder of the budget is going to remain the same. As you can see, it has not increased, it's about the same. But any questions or concerns y'all have, you're free to ask.
I'll mention on capital outlay also a piece of there is the generator not functioning properly.
That's right.
We're going to replace that under capital outlay. Probably not a brand new one, but a refurbished one. Very important to keep PD and the dispatch primarily going all the time.
If y'all have no questions, we can move over to page number 5, environmental. Same thing on this budget, it remains the same. The only thing you're gonna see difference there on a capital leasing, also it's a vehicle replacement, which is $10,000, replacing one of the vehicles into the lease program itself. Everything else is remaining
And
the
that's a
same.
10,000, correct? sir?
Yes, sir, for one vehicle.
On the leasing itself, how does that work? Can you explain a little bit?
On the leasing itself, we have currently a vehicle there. It's going to be given back to the leasing program, and we get some funding from there, and that goes back into the lease, and then we get a new vehicle. The cost itself for that vehicle itself, I don't have the breakdown of that, because there is one vehicle that's coming out of environmental, 4 vehicles is coming out of the police budget itself for the capital outlay.
Depending on what Enterprise does, depending on the type of vehicle and the mileage that is going to be projected to be utilized, and each department is different. There's a cost of the leasing of the vehicle, and then there's a maintenance cost. And so all the maintenance is covered under that cost, which will help reduce, theoretically, his ideas. You keep newer vehicles and you reduce your maintenance costs, which here you can see they're gone down about 8,000. Is projecting that it'll go down. That was on PD, I'm sorry, not on environmental, but the same concept. We hope that we'll also see better mileage. Some of those vehicles are 10 years old, and so the gas mileage they claim is better today than it was 10 years ago. So if that's the case, over the time, we should see some better prices for gasoline, unless gasoline goes up, and then all bets are off.
And the repairs are going to be a little bit less, as you look at on page number 4, repairs of vehicles going to be less due to having these new lease vehicles itself, so it's going to reduce some of the repair costs.
Yeah.
Mark, when did we start this lease program? Has it been 2 years already that we started doing this?
This is starting the second year.
Second year. I remember when we approved this, and the projection was to lower maintenance costs and get a new fleet in, but we were doing it in phases.
Correct.
And so, okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
No, thank you, sir.
The next one besides me, and I'll catch up on me, is Carlos with Streets and Parks on, it's your page 6. On page 6 in the packet is page 10.
Mr. Mayor, council members, on the street portion of the budget, most of it remains the same, except on street drainage and repairs. We increased that to $50,000 to do more patching and street repairs. And other than that, on street project, Mark, you were going to mention something on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the street project. There's, y'all know that we've been working with Drainage District Number 1 to try to take over some ditches that don't have right-of-ways, have always historically been used as drainage, but nobody owns the rights to them except the property owner, and they're not maintaining them, and thus we have some problem with drainage. The concept moving forward with Drainage District 1 seems to be that they're going to be willing to take over some of those ditches, but they want the city or the county, wherever it's represented at, to do the work, to do the surveying, to work up the easements so that that can be done, and then at that time, then they would take over the maintenance of those. So I'm putting a little bit of money in there because we don't have the staff to do that. We have to get somebody to survey, do the meets and bounds, work with the property owner to get them to realize that they couldn't, by state law, they can't cover in the ditch anyway. So it kind of has to remain used as a ditch. So they might as well
Now,
open it up, so it's a good step.
would our employees be working on those ditches to clear out, or how would that work, just because since it's private property sort of too? How would that?
We would do the meets and bounds with the surveys to get the right-of-way of that ditch, and then the hope is that Cameron County Drainage District Number 1 would take it over with their equipment and clean it the first time and then maintain it from there. All of that is to be determined, but that's the concept of what will be done to take care of some of those issues, really from our city through the county and into Brownsville.
Are this including some of those that we talked the last time? When you were showing us that map, or?
Yes,
That's south of Baja, right?
south of Baja Circle,
Baja
along
California Road.
California
Yeah.
Road. California Crossing is the neighborhood that you probably will get phone calls from, hey, we got high water here. And so the idea is that they take over those ditches and it helps resolve the problems. Some of them, we're hoping that we can get agreements with Cameron County Irrigation District Number 6 that already have ditches, but they no longer drain, and by law, they don't have to drain unless they're responsible for the water that goes on there in that area. None of those areas, they're responsible for the water that goes there, if that makes sense. There's a clause in the law, and so they say, we don't need to drain the water. It's not our water.
So this increase is gonna cover our work, the ones we'll put in initially to get it all cleared in after the surveying and everything,
Right.
and then once it's all cleared out, our goal is to hand it over to Drainage District 1.
Yes, sir.
But we need some cash to get that started.
Right. And it won't take near that, but the idea is to have some, and then we can, later in the year, hopefully, we have some extra, we can move it into actual, maybe do a block of street repair or something like that.
Anything else on streets?
No, thank you very much.
Go ahead and do parks.
The parks budget, again, going to remain relatively the same, except on the pool maintenance and pool chemicals category. We're going to increase that some due to upgrades on the chemical feed system, which currently has been operated manually. This will be an automatic setup, so we're anticipating, like I said, an increase on chemical usage and some of the maintenance.
Can you tell me why there's an increase in pool labor from the 80,000 projected to 150?
It's just we didn't use it all this year. It's only the same, no big change.
Thank you, Mark.
Do we have a company or is it done in-house?
That's what this is. It'll be a company that does
That is gonna take
it with
over.
an automatic feed system, and we feel like we'll get more steady water and results, and people
Yeah.
will much prefer that.
Less breakdown, less cleaning.
Yes. That's the goal.
Any more questions on parks?
No, sir, not for me. Anybody else? Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next one is, the next page is 7, which is in your packet, page 11.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
One more question I didn't saw. Here where it says electricity, this is to add more lights to the park
Where's
that we
that at?
currently, in parks.
Which one?
Where it says electricity, is it
Oh,
to add?
No,
Or
that's
it's just the,
good question. That's just our electric bill
Normal.
for the parks. The Economic Development Corporation, CDC, last week I reported that they agreed to fund upgrade in the lights at the Little League fields. So that's probably what, but that's through the CDC budget, not here. Does that
And-
make sense?
yes. And I know that one time we mentioned maybe to include a little bit of lighting on the natural park. Something that it's not gonna damage the wildlife. Is it still part of the goal to do that or not right now
Just no funding,
for that?
not with this budget yet.
Okay, thank you.
Page 11, I get confused again.
7 and
Page 7
11, yeah.
and your packet 11. Go ahead, Angie.
Good afternoon, Angie.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council people. So our budget basically stays the same. There is an increase in the capital outlay. We plan to renovate the children's area. We want to make the shelves lower for the children. The ones we have in there were reused from our main area when we remodeled that. So we're hoping to do shorter shelves for our little ones. And that's our goal, to kind of make it more child-friendly. If you'll notice, the library grounds are looking really nice. We've been doing a lot of work. So Thursdays, we go out there, and it's all volunteer work. And we've been planting and doing some beautification to the grounds. There is a little bit of an increase to the maintenance of the building, just because of, it's an old building, so it needs some things. But other than that, do you guys have any questions?
No, just a comment. I think that we need a second floor or expand the library.
I just think we need a new building eventually, something
Yes.
that'll work. But, we'll leave it in God's hands, and I'm sure in the future something will come up, and
Yeah.
We'll
we're
do a
hoping
major
to-
enhancement.
We're hoping to beautify the back.
you
So
guys do the
that's
best
something-
job, that you can with what you got, and we
Yes.
appreciate it. I know we were talking once about a mural going up on one of those walls in the
We'd
back,
love that.
and,
Yeah,
who knows?
if you haven't noticed, in San Benito, they have that I Heart San Benito sign.
Yes.
I think something like that would be wonderful for
Yeah, we've talked about
that
it in previous
library,
meetings.
that park right there. Yeah.
Maybe, Mark, that's something we can come up with. I know we had talked about that mural, remember, on the wall? Maybe in the near future, we can do something like that, give it a little twist, or a little,
I recently ran into a guy from Los Fresnos that would do a mural, and so I mentioned to him about that. I'll have to remember who it was.
well, it's
That would
always,
be nice.
I told him
There's
to
a couple
come
of
back.
years
and,
that we,
it can be,
I told him the idea is people to look at it and say, oh, that's Los Fresnos.
yeah, and then take a picture, stop in, visit the library, and, maybe that's a good
Yeah.
Good idea.
We've been having a lot of increase in our stats and our people that are coming in
Yeah,
and
well,
using the facility.
The events you and Iris put together and the rest of the staff has been really good, and we
Thank you.
appreciate the work
Thank
that you guys do.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next section is at the bottom of that page, 7, packet page 9. Charlie Banda does the emergency management.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Emergency management, there's no changes, everything stays the same. Usually what we use from this is the supply section. We've been very lucky and fortunate not to have, or need to be using this, but we still want to remain at the same in case of a disaster or anything that might, come up. Besides that, everything is the same. Any questions on this?
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
So let's say hurricane comes through. Do we work that out of the police department? Do we coordinate with EMS fire department on their building? How exactly, where would you guys be stationed in order to do a command, city hall?
Yes, this would be the location. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the rest is mine, so if you'll turn to page 4 and packet page 8. At the top of that page is information technology. As you know, we tried about a year or so we had a director. We've been using a contracted service. It's been working very, very well, except for one thing, and this budget reflects that. If you'll see on that, where it says contract services, the projected for this year is $19,152, and next year is $43,200. We're adding $24,000, and what we want is an individual that will house here at City and be here 8 to 5, but also be able to be at, if works at the PD, can be there. If works at the library, can be there. If works at Public Works, he can be there. It's much cheaper than what we could hire someone for and then do the benefits. Plus, they can have the training that's provided through that service, and it just will be much easier to manage and handle. So that's what that first item is. The next is hardware.
One question, Mark.
Go ahead.
So in last year's budget, if I don't recall, we had a director position and they had requested a assistant position
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So we're removing the director position and that's how we're gonna subsidize the 43, where we're not having to pay for a
Correct.
titled director.
We did that really last year.
And so the assistant itself is still on the job?
No.
So we'll have no IT in terms of ourselves, everything's gonna be outsourced, I guess,
Yes.
through that? Okay,
Correct.
perfect, I just wanted to understand
Yes.
that.
And the other part there is hardware. You can see 50,000. Because of other things, we want to catch up a little bit on replacing computers. One of them's y'all's pads that y'all have are very old, not working too well on some things. So improve upon some of those, some backup batteries that not only important for personal computers, but the big thing is our main servers. When we have even a glitch in the electrical, even though we have a generator that kicks on, it could cause some problems. And so we have that battery backup and surge protector for not only our personal computers at each desk, but a huge one for our servers. So that will cover that, both hardware and then a little bit of software. So that's the IT piece. Any questions on that?
Any hardware, hardware being upgraded also at the police department and water plant as well, that is included in that, or that they're separate?
All of them, yeah. From monitors to, mainly we can use the same monitors, but we replace the guts of the computer. If you don't have any questions, turn to page 5, which is your packet, page 9. At the top is the fire department, and as you know, we have a contract with both fire and EMS. This is fire. Part of the contract is, and it's been since, I think the 50s, when it started, workers' comp has always been paid by the city, and that will continue. There has been a change in insurance, and so we'll have to spend a little bit of time on that here in EMS. TML insurance that insures the city also insured the fire department and EMS, and they did it as a subcontractor under the city. TML says that's not legal to do that. And so at the beginning of the year, this past year, they no longer allowed that. So fire and EMS had to go out and secure their own insurance privately. So on the workers' comp piece, you can see that I had put 1,500. If you'll write in there the actual amount for this coming year that we're going to have to change that to is 6,368. So that first number there on the right-hand side proposed, instead of 1,500, it'll be 6,368. And that's just what the cost is on the open market for them. The next part is the special services contract. If you'll recall, we had agreed to a 3-year contract with fire department, and it was $175 this year we're in, it would go to 190 this year, and the next year it would go to 200. Because of the increase of insurance, we would like to revamp that and compensate for the loss and that they're going to have to pay extra for that insurance, which is for the fire department, because of the number of equipment they have, is $18,825
Extra to the 190.
extra. So they've had to pay that this year. But we didn't know that until we got into the year. So what my proposal is we need to pay the $18,825 for last year and the $18,825 for this year to get them back true to what it would have been in a contract. Does that make sense? So all we're doing is even the field. And so their contract where it says 190 would change to 227,650. 227,650.
Now, this is gonna be an amendment to the contract, or just?
What my proposal is start a new 3-year contract, and what we would do is do like we did the other, is it'd be 227,650. Next year, it would be 10,000 more, which would be 237,650. And the following year, it'd be 10,000 more, 247,650. And the 10 is just for, increase in cost as we go. One fire truck, which I used to say was 750, because we used to say it was 150, is more like $900,000 for a pumper truck. And that's kind of a base unit, so it can go up from there. So still very cheap, because fire department is all volunteer. So that's the proposal would be 227,650 would replace the 190, and then we'd have 3 years, 227,650, 237,650, and 247,650.
Still a lot cheaper than having all of this as part of the city. That's a huge,
Absolutely.
huge savings there. So we're
And then as
blessed
you
to have
see,
them.
the bottom two lines in that, building insurance and liability insurance, go to zero, because before it was flowing through us and then they would repay us for those two. Now they'll just pay their own. We're kind of supplementing to catch them up for cost. Not that we're paying their insurance, but that, hey, it increased cost, not really due to our fault, not really due to theirs, but to help them become true. And they have extra cost here, and we're going to supplement it so that they can still spend the other dollars the way they intended to, instead of sacrificing equipment for that. That make sense? Kind of a tough one, but it's where it is. The next one below that is engineering, and we have a contract for a building inspector, plat reviews, and engineering. The building inspector is that. As you know, we're doing lots of inspections. I don't ever see that going down much. We've looked at, I know it was mentioned last meeting, we've looked at hiring a full-time individual. The problem is certifications. We won't get someone that's certified the way we have now. The contractors have been very workable, and it works. If you call here at 4:55 or 4:58 and say, I need an inspection today, you're getting it. And it's very good. They love it that way. We have looked at other outsourcing of that. Those become a minimum of 48 to 72 hours turnaround, and that's just not acceptable. We can't live with that. This is really a perfect deal for us, so we're going to continue. We have advertised before on 3 to 4 occasions, and we just we don't get anybody with.
But for those type of certifications, the pay's not gonna be, you know, $75,000-$80,000. That's a lot of work and continued education, and it's really hard to find that kind of help. But when I was building my house, I found that they were pretty quick. You know, we put the request in and they were there and had no
They don't hold
problems.
they don't, our process is better than any city, and it's quicker, and people don't have to wait. Contractors tell us that all the time, so we're very proud about all of that, from the permit process all the way to the inspection. The next one is plat review. That's done when subdivisions are put in, and all of those fees are paid by the developer. We have to expense it, but we get it on the revenue side. And so basically, they have told us what it costs to do a preliminary plat and a final plat, and then they pay those fees. We pay the engineer, our engineer, to do that, but then the developer pays that. Construction fees are done for that particular project, because you don't know how much those costs are going to be. If I have a 10-lot subdivision, the cost of reviewing that construction plans is tremendously different than a 100-lot subdivision. So we do that, and if it's $500, we charge the developer $500. So we don't make anything. It's not designed for that. We don't need to. We want development to happen, so we want developers to do that, and so we just make them share the cost in that. And then engineering is just things that come up a lot during the year that we can budget for, that a request and say, hey, we need to figure out if sewer needs to go here or drainage here, and they can do that. We have some money set aside already for that.
Is that kind of like the money we talked about last meeting to
Absolutely.
spend $5,000 to do the review on the
Yeah.
park thing? Okay, thank you.
That's all of engineering. Then if you skip down to emergency medical service on that same page, which is EMS, as you can see, the first one is workers' comp. It's now zero. A few lines down, building insurance and liability insurance is zero. The same effect with fire is now with EMS, except we have never paid, the city has never paid the workers' comp for EMS. They've always paid all of that, so we don't have that problem here. But their contract for this year is $190,000. It's 180 this year. It goes to 190, and next year 200,000. Their insurance, because they have a lot less equipment, is only increased by 7,000 a year. So you had 7,000 this year and 7,000 this coming year, so that's 14. So what we're proposing is to go from 190, add the 14, so they're whole again, they're true. And so that'd be 204,000 this year. So if you write that down where 190 is, put 204. And that makes them whole again. And then the next year we'd add 10 to make it 214. And the third year we would make it 224. And that just trues them up with insurance, and then we don't have to worry. It will be a lot easier for us. It took staff time a lot with Pablo's staff. The insurance bill is humongous, and you had to sort through it, what goes to each department, including fire and EMS, and then create a bill for them on what they reimburse us for. So it'll really be simpler this way. They handle their own. We don't have to. But we compensate for that change. Anything else? I think it's pretty easy once we understand what happened. Garbage is not much. There's a few contracted stuff. People will call and say, hey, I want to roll off, and so that goes there. As you can see, not too much. We have a few cameras in different places we pay electricity for. It's actually it's not well, it is electricity, but it's just a flat amount because we've got a camera on their pole. If you go to page 6, that's what Carlos already handled. That's packet page 10. You go to the next page, is page 7, and packet page 11. In the middle of the paper is community and senior center. If you got a great memory, last year they were separate because we ran since the senior citizens is a grant funded, we ran them separate, but they don't require that. And so we always had to divide what is community center and what is senior citizens, but yet they happen in the same building. So we decided to move it all in one. So this is all of that here together. The first part is like the rest of them is salaries. You have already talked about that. About halfway down is supplies, and we have some increase there just because we haven't done much supplies in the past, and we've got some things that we need to do.
And just to reference, Mark, this is also, we were receiving money from county in the past.
Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, which we're still expecting that on the revenue side. There's rumors about stuff with it, but we're still expecting the 40. If you'll recall, during the year, it changed last year. February 1st, it was during this budget year, we got that notification. We're expecting 40 again, and then we fund the difference for that program, and not just the program itself, but the community centers used at night for birthdays, for quinceañeras, for all kinds of stuff. So that will continue on. I did put $6,000 in maintenance of building. We'd like to, the back door needs to be replaced, and we'd like to replace the fans. If you've been in there recently, they're kind of.
I have a question on
Yes.
how the community center and elections, because I know I called once for reserve it, and it's months in advance. I mean, people are using it and they're taking advantage of what we have provided for them, right? How does the election services kind of throw a wrench on that in terms of it possible revenue that the city can make? I don't know how much we make over the week, but I'm pretty sure Fridays and Saturdays would have always been booked if it was available. Is it that much of an issue?
No, it's not that big of an issue. If you look at revenue on, I can find it on community center. It's on page 2, which would be packet page 5. About midway down, it says community center. Where is it? I lost it now. For what? 1045. Yeah. Rental fees, community center. You're talking about 14,000, and we look like we're going to hit 18 for the whole year. So when you look at a couple weeks, it's not significant.
Thank you.
It is. I will say it is tough to manage because prior to us committing the community center for elections, if you'll recall, people never really knew where they were going to be. In the past, it was sometimes at City Hall, sometimes at Community Center. When they first built the Cameron County building, sometimes it was there. I think even one time we had it at the motel, the room at the motel, that room there. And I think in history, probably Lions Club as well. Just people never knew where to go to vote. I think we're doing a good service, even though we do have some issues scheduling. we do a great service to our community. They know you don't have to worry about where it's going to be. It's there, and we can get people to go vote and express their desires at the voting place. So I do think that's important. When I say it's hard, we have to mark off not only the 4 times a year that it's the uniform election day, but there is, what do they call them? Profitable runoffs afterwards that you never know. So, but we work through those and work through those people that rent them. It's not too much trouble, but it is an issue. So.
Now, on this budget, you had mentioned in June when we had or July when we had that meeting, that you were, just in case we lost the 40,000, you still had a way to cover that. Was that
Cover the what?
the senior program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the items is in streets where we had that money set aside for, to do surveying. If we have to use some of that, because that's way more than what we would ever use, we'd have to be buying property, and we don't want to buy the property. So we have some room there that we could move it if we needed to. That's where I'm keeping in mind that we could utilize those funds if something happened to that funding. Always got to be prepared.
And that's from bouncing off Councilman's question, that's not the turf that we would be dipping into or anything?
No. Fortunately, the TERS fund is growing with our revenue and the county's revenue, and after we get budgets in October, November, we'll be working on a project to hopefully schedule some more street repairs. We have to be careful about the ones that have water lines in them, because we got that money coming and we don't want to fix a street and then tear it up because of water line. The same way with the sewer line. One example is Canal Street. If you've been down there recently, it is really bad. It's bad. But a sewer line runs down there, so we have to have our sewer money and that contract ready to go to replace that sewer line before we do the street. Otherwise, we're throwing good money after bad, and it's not good use of funds. So when people say, you need to fix it, you're right, but we have to do it in the right order. And when we're waiting on Texas Water Development Board on those fundings that we need desperately, as y'all remember, the funding for the sewer was about 70% grant. And so that's huge. The
Thank
water
you.
piece is about the same.
Thank you.
And that's all on community center. Looks good. The next page, on page 8, which is packet page 12, and it's community health, kind of falls right in with the community center, and also a government-funded grant. Again, we have monies set aside in case anything would happen to that. Don't know that it is, but there's always rumors when you're talking about federal money, especially in today's time. Things are strange. But supplies, you can see we're going from 6 to 8 just because we haven't moved that in a while, and we have some needs with that program. It's a very successful program, very good program that we can continue to do, and that's all really that we have for general fund. Any other questions on general fund? If not, we can move to utility fund and finish up. That will be on, we did the revenue parts on page 9, which is packet page 13. We'll go to page 10, and also packet page 14. And Carlos, are you doing it, or Raul, or both? You're doing it? And again, there's not a lot here because it's a pretty even budget. There's not a lot of changes, but he'll go over a few.
Mayor, council members, on the water budget, the only category that we have some changes on will be under materials and supplies. And the first one would be chemicals. And there's several reasons for that. One is, of course, the cost of chemicals keep going up. We're producing more water. And the water that we're producing, the quality that we're getting from our raw water's not the best. So it takes more chemicals to polish that water, make it drinkable.
Can you explain what you explained to me, turbidity? Because I want them to understand what we're dealing with and how you're having to take
River water?
horrible water and make it to the percents that you told me.
Right. We measure clarity, well, turbidity it's a measurement of the clarity of water. Raw water in the past, we'll get about 40 to 50 units of turbidity. Right now, we're getting up 100 and over. And our finished water has to be under 0.3. So it's quite a bit of a reduction from raw to finished. So you can see what it takes to clean that water up.
And most of ours is what?
It's under
0.1.
0.1.
Carlos,
It takes 100 and more all the way down to 0.1.
It's a lot of chemicals.
I know they were installing motor controls a few years back, and how does the chemicals affect your pumps and your O-rings and everything that y'all have to worry about at the station itself? Is it something that, since we are having to clean more, obviously we're not getting the best quality of water, but maintenance-wise, is it something that, can the pumps keep up, right? And how much more maintenance are you projecting, since we have to use so much more chemicals?
If you remember, we did upgrade our plant. All the pumps, starting from the raw to filter to finished, have been upgraded. We have to meet a certain capacity. So at this time, they're all working the way they should be. So they're designed to produce the amount of water that we need to.
Thank you.
The other item I have is on the same category, is under the CCID number 6 water. That's also an increase, and that's due to an increase on their cost to bring the water to us. That's all I have on water.
Just another question, because I know we disposed through the canal to the Laguna Madre, correct? Through the main drainage canal. Are we responsible for the cleaning of that canal or anything like that? Is irrigation district or drainage district 1, are they responsible for it?
The canal itself?
The canal itself where we release the filtered water from the sewer?
No. That's a separate outfall.
It's Drainage District 1. It's the main drain that runs by O'Reilly's.
So we're using the existing canal to tap?
There's a little piece that's ours, but
Yeah, that's on our property, so.
but it's not, but then it tees into the main that ends up around Ship Channel.
I'll jump over to the sewer budget. Again,
Page 11
yes.
and your packet page 15.
Again, an increase, the only increase that we show will be on, again, chemicals. And that's due to, of course, increase in cost, and also we are discharging more water, so again, the same as the water, we have to meet permit conditions, so it takes whatever to clean it up. And the other one is on the next category is repairs and maintenance of sewer. We'll have an increase on sludge removal, and that's also due to cost of transportation. That's all I have on the water and sewer. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much for
And-
that. I know
and-
we haven't had a fine or anything. I remember a couple of years ago we had one and haven't seen one ever since. And so you guys are doing a good job and we appreciate the work and effort
Thank you.
by you and your team.
Mark, I have a question. So, on the leasing program that we got for the vehicles, is that gonna also cover all the vehicles for the city or just PD and stuff like that?
All of them. And this past year, there were 6 for Public Works, which I think 2 of them or 3 of them were utility, which was water and sewer. A couple parks and streets, those were replaced, as you might see. Some of them are a basic unit because that's all they need. Some of them are club cab because need to transport people. And then there was initially one other for a staff vehicle, but then mid-year, we had an accident that they totaled one of the police vehicles, and so we got a payout from the insurance, and we used that to replace that. So there was 7 this past year, and this year coming is there 6. And so at the end of this year, I think we'll be 13 out of the fleet will be on that program. And then each year, we slowly work off. The good thing is we've done 13 in 2 years. We've gotten rid of the 2004, 2006 vehicles that were really, really old and then costing a lot of maintenance that yeah, it's a good question. That finishes all we had to present unless you have a question. You know, some budgets are tough because there's a lot of things to choose from. Do we have other things, other needs? And, you know, there's always needs. We're fortunate that we have some grants and loans coming for the sewer and the water part. The sewer real soon, the water probably in 6 to 8 months, maybe a year away. Then we can do the TERS for some of the streets and do those programs. The CDC is funding a lot of our quality of life projects, which is good, which I reviewed with you last week. That's going to be some great upgrades at the park with shade, with lighting. So a lot of things good happening.
Just one more question, Mark, just on the lease programs. I know we have it for vehicles that employees use, correct? Police, utility, and park services, right? Is there a lease program for machinery like backhoes or anything else like that? Do we need machinery upgrades in the future? Maybe not this budget, but do you foresee that? And I don't know, that's Carlos.
Yeah, there is programs. They're expensive because of the wear and heavy wear and tear on them. So we've been fortunate to be able to use contracted prices on those types of things to be able to make it with a backhoe, tractors, lawnmowers. One of the things we don't have that we haven't needed it is the shredders that hang out and mow.
Over the canals?
Carlos and Roll use it for there by across from the nature park, and also at the end of Olmo Street where that drainage goes into a above ditch. We don't have that, so we contract that, but it's very cheap compared to going and buying one of those. So we do once in a while have to wait for them to finish what their hot topics are to schedule it in, but a few times it's been longer than we wanted, but it's still a lot cheaper to do it that way than go buy that. It's very expensive, so that's why we've been handling it.
Thank you, guys.
Any additional questions? We're good to go? All right, it's 7:08. We'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you and have a good evening.